And we're following breaking news out of North Carolina. 5 more prison employees hurt on their job just this week.
On Wednesday alone, there were 3 separate incidents at 2 different prisons. At Odom Correctional Institution in Jackson, an officer was hurt after an inmate hit a sergeant.
There were also 2 incidents at Morey Prison in Hookerton. First, an inmate hit an officer, then another employee was hurt in a separate incident. We're told everyone is okay.
And you may remember 4 prison employees were killed in Pasquotank Prison last October. And almost a year ago, an inmate murdered a corrections officer in Bertie.
Clouds and rain at times on this Good Friday.
Yep, after a taste of spring, the weekend leading up to Easter Sunday will feel chillier. So Jeff has a look at the cool down.
And it's already feeling a lot chillier in northern parts of the viewing area, and that is heading to the south with this line of showers. That is the cold front. We had a line of showers earlier. They were out ahead of the main front. Now we're seeing this one come through, and it's really just been in the last hour that it has really begun to pop up very, very rapidly. I wouldn't even doubt we're getting a little bit of thunder in there. You might be hearing some of that, a couple of rumbles. Nothing in terms of lightning just yet down to the ground, but in between the clouds, I wouldn't rule it out at all. Menchville and Cliveden and up toward Gloucester Point and over toward Bayvon, you can see that thing. This is just 1 hour's worth rapidly moving to the east. Although you say, what is that? That's moving to the south. That is a pocket of cold air as well, sort of outflow from the main batch. But right now, right here over Severin, Cobbs Creek Road, down to Marius and Achilles, very heavy rain there. Over here toward Marshall Heights, the back end of Route 17 is where things get a little bit lighter. Lighter too back once you cross over out of Gloucester, but out in front of it around Grafton and on the peninsula, very heavy rain that extends down to about Comet as well. So for this evening, 70 degrees right now, winds still west-southwest, but they're about to switch very quickly in the next hour or 2 out of the northwest, and that'll drop the temperatures, as you can see, back into the 50s. I'll be back to talk about your weekend, including, of course, Easter, when I return.
This morning, Naval Air Station Oceana honored the 2 aviators killed in a training accident earlier this month.
Lieutenant Commander James Johnson and Lieutenant Caleb King died when their FA-18F Super Hornet went down near Key West, Florida. Reporter Allie Weatherton attended the memorial service and learned more about these fallen heroes.
What I'll remember about both these guys was the eternal smiles they had on their face.
A memorial brought hundreds of strangers together in this chapel to remember 2 of their own, Lieutenant Commander James Bryce Johnson and Lieutenant Caleb King.
These guys were affable young men. They were dedicated to the service of their country. They were committed. They loved their squadron mates. They loved their fellow service members. And they loved the business of naval aviation.
Their jet crashed during a training exercise near Key West 2 weeks ago. This morning, their squadron mates shared a little bit about each of them. The pilot, Johnson, was known as Drama. He had a magnetic personality, and his friends say he always strived to be the best he could be. Drama was a great husband, son, and brother. King was a weapons system operator, known as She-Ray, to his squadron mates. He's described as someone who could always brighten up a room and was a jokester and who loved working out. His friends say he was a great husband and father to his young daughter.
You never get over losing men or women. So that part, while there will be people that will come in to replace at some juncture, you will never be able to replace Lieutenant Commander Johnson or Lieutenant King.
One comment that really stuck with me during the memorial service that was said, "We will always feel their loss, but we will always feel their strength." At Oceana, Allie Weatherton, 13 News Now.
Senator Mark Warner made a stop in Norfolk today to address issues affecting the military community right here in Hampton Roads. He met with business owners to discuss some of their greatest concerns. 13 News Now reporter Jacqueline Lee has the details.
The biggest topic of conversation today was breakdowns in the security clearance process, and businesses we spoke with said something needs to change.
It is impacting our bottom line.
It's a well-known problem in the government contracting sphere, the difficulty of getting a security clearance.
There's a huge backlog. It's a long waiting period.
Maria Herbert is president of the Women in Defense chapter of Hampton Roads. Today, the group discussed the issue with Senator Mark Warner.
Some of the best talent who may want to come and work for our country based on mission can't afford to wait a year and a half before they can go to work.
There's also another problem. Jackie Zell runs a government contracting company and explained the lack of standardization to get that security clearance is also a hassle.
For instance, the Department of Energy might have a clearance there, and I'm trying to hire someone who has been there in the Department of Defense problem, and it doesn't transfer easily.
Warner explained there's a backlog of more than 700,000 security clearance applications. He said reforms to that process haven't been made since the late 40s, so he wants to look at common sense solutions.
Using technology to go back and check somebody's academic records, making sure that we can have continuous evaluation rather than every 5 years regardless of what the person is doing. Trying to make sure that if you get a clearance for one agency, you can use that same clearance for another agency.
In Norfolk, Jacqueline Lee, 13 News Now.